City of Leominster Mayor. And with me this morning is Jonathan Silverstein. Jonathan, would you just spell your name for the press?
Certainly. Jonathan Silverstein, Silverstein, I'm an attorney with the city solicitor law firm, Copeland and Page.
So this morning what we have, and we'll certainly post all of this up to the website and anywhere else we can get it posted, but rather than bring the very, the actual agreement, which we hope to have signed later today, we just got a few other finishing touches to put on it. We wanted to share this as soon as we could. And this morning, probably a half hour before we got here, we also gave a copy of this summary to the City Council so they have it in advance of the press conference to take a look at. And the sort of recap on what the scope of the project is. It's a Category 2 gaming facility with about approximately 1,250 slot machines, about 120,000 square feet of gaming, retail, and restaurant space. And it's on approximately 16 acres on Jungle Road here in the city of Leominster. The total minimum investment, and we've talked before, there has to be a minimum investment, and that's prescribed by law, of $125 million. So we broke this up into a couple of different categories. And the first one is payments to the city. And first of all, this is approximately, and I say approximately because we don't know, some of this is worked out in terms of percentages, in terms of what their revenues are based on, and percentages. So the exact number is yet to be determined. But it's approximately, I think it's safe to say, around $4 million for the first year. And it does change. It changes in year 5, and then it changes later on in year 2. Right? So we sort of got this. And the reason we broke it down that way is because obviously at the very beginning of the project is where most of their the investment is made. And then there may even be other competition 5 years down the road. And we took we sort of built some measures in place to address that. And then if in fact there are other competitors around the state or in New England, we took that in consideration. But then we also looked at year 10 and what happens in that year in terms of revenue for the city. So we broke this down, the payments for the city. And as I said, it's about approximately, if you add everything up, we only have a couple different categories really. It's approximately $4 million that would come to the city. So they'll be conducting a number of different studies for the area. We have a chance to do a peer review. This isn't uncommon, we've done it before. And so we'll have a chance to hire our own companies to look at their impact studies that look at crime or traffic, economic development, impact to the area, etc. And we'll have a chance to review those. Our agreement will say that all the permitting fees associated with the project, and again, this is just an estimate, are about $600,000 to $800,000. And again, that has to be paid for. Just like any other project, they come and pull the permits, that would have to be paid for before the project. And then prior to the commencement of the construction, the agreement will make an unrestricted grant to the city, a payment to the city of $250,000.
Under the statute and the regulations adopted by the Massachusetts Gaming Commission, once the agreement is finalized and signed by the mayor, which again will likely be sometime early afternoon today, Cordish can submit a request for a ballot referendum. In order for the project to proceed to an application before the Gaming Commission, the ballot referendum has to take place and the people of Leominster have to vote that they want to allow that application to take place. That application will, that vote rather, will take place between 60 and 90 days from the date of the request by Cordish. So if the request is submitted today, then the ballot election could take place as early as 60 days from today. If that ballot vote is affirmative and the people of Leominster vote to let this project go forward, then by October 4th, Cordish would submit what's called a Phase 2 or final application to the Gaming Commission, and we would anticipate that the Gaming Commission will make a decision as to which of the various applications it will accept and issue a license to either by the end of this year or early next year.
They agree to make total annual payments to the city equal to or greater up. So what we did is we tried to put some bottom, we didn't want to go totally on percentages. We really wanted to rely somewhat on worst case scenario, or at least, bottom line, so we knew exactly what we'd be sort of taking in without the risk. And so we kind of did a mixture of minimums combined with percentages. So it would be greater to or equal to or greater to 2% of the gross gaming revenues, projected to result in payments of approximately $4 million to the city each year. The minimum payments, and this is how you get to that 3.8 million. And again, this is all, everybody has a copy of the sheet, so does the city council. Property taxes of approximately $1 million, impact fee of $100,000, community benefit payment of $2.7 million. Now, the impact fee, in some of these areas, again, I'll talk to specifically about where some of the ideas are as to where the funding would go. After 10 years, the average payment to the city increases by 2.5%. 2.5%, not increases another 2.5%, but it increases to 2.5%. Approximately, and we use these terms approximately because, again, we're not absolutely sure of every single thing, but we're talking 600 construction jobs, and the preference will be for Leominster residents and union members. And we've used all union staff for all of our community projects in the city, and we've had great results. And you'd just really be surprised how many union members there are, tradespeople here in the city of Leominster. I think this is critical. And then approximately 500 to 700 full-time permanent jobs, and preferences for Leominster residents. So every year there'll be $50,000 to support local charities and youth sports. And again, that's a yearly, that's $50,000 per year. And also to support a micro loan program for small businesses. And again, that will be funded, $50,000 a year. And so, we'll make all, the developer will make all public infrastructure improvements, water, sewer, roadway, etc., as required by the planning board and the planning board engineering consultants to be funded by the developer. Also inside the facility, they've agreed to construct a police department substation. And again, I like to look at that more of public safety. And I know we haven't talked about that final detail about the economic development regional issue, so I'll leave that out now, but we'll talk some more about that when we can submit the final document. But also to prepare a public safety plan in consultation with the Leominster Police and Fire Departments, and to use the Leominster Police Departments for details and supplementing their security. And but they will join and actively participate in the Massachusetts Partnership on Responsible Gaming. And it will help to educate its employees and provide information to patrons regarding responsible gaming. And that's something I think that's set up through the state, and part of the funds, I believe, the revenues go to help to pay for that. Because as we know, there are people, I got emails today, 2 or 3 from people who said, they had a gambler in their home, their family had an addiction, and it cost them a deal. And so we encourage these funds to be used for those areas to help those that have an addiction. We worked so hard to, our focus was, let's just put a bottom line on this so everybody understands the total amount that the city is going to get, worst case scenario. And then, of course, anything more that comes in is an added sort of bonus or is better. And we thought that was a good way to do that, rather than sort of breaking